Star family. Michael from One Sky back with another unscripted Prometheus video. And in this video, I want to take a look at some of the things you can do with aspects in Capricorn Prometheus, just kind of to walk through those dialogues and kind of boxes, the tick marks and the options, the things you can do with aspects. That's the intention of this video today. And also I'm testing some new camera equipment. So you might see better colors behind you if you're familiar with this channel. Might see a little better image processing. And what I'm really testing to do is see if I can just talk for like 15-20 minutes in one take. And if the audio and video remains synced up. So not only is this an unscripted video with like a little bit of an outline in my head, but I'm going to try and get this in one take too. So if you're interested in taking that ride with me, thank you, welcome. I would like to just jump right in without further ado. This is something that you'll be familiar with if you're a Capricorn Prometheus user. We have a chart and we have the aspects, and the aspects that I'm using are the default aspect. We find that here under points and aspects. We find the aspects listed in this bottom row. We can click, as always, the 3-button menu here, and it opens a dialog box. So awesome. Within this dialog box, you'll find the transits, and let's just go down to default and make a copy of it. I want to call this 0 underscore test for demo. Okay. Then I'm going to go down and there'll be two, you'll notice here, two default files, and one of them is named test for demo. So I'm going to check that one, edit it. Let me just change the info here. Test. I'm actually going to name it 0 underscore. That'll keep it at the top of alphabetized lists. Test for demonstration. Test for demo. And I do that not to waste everyone's time, but because these are good habits. This is building good habits. When you make a copy of a file and you make a custom aspect configuration or anything else, you're going to want to denote it yourself as the author and update the name and the description, because it'll help you find it later. So I want to show you some of the things you can do with aspects, and within this we have aspect definitions. Now one thing a lot of people ask me is like, how do I add, let's say, quintiles and septiles? We can see down here in this list that quintiles are here, but they're switched off. So we're going to switch them on. And likewise, we can find septiles and switch those on. That's just a demonstration of turning an aspect on or off. Say that you don't want contraparallels, you can switch those off, and you're getting the picture of where we can go from. Also down here, if you're a careful observer, you'll see the edit button. The edit button is a real sweet deal because this allows us to work with aspects on an individual basis. So let's say, first of all, let's say that we have red aspects. This is the default. Blue aspects in red are stress, and blue are harmony aspects, harmonious aspects. But let's say we want to differentiate a little between oppositions and squares. Let's say we want oppositions in garish green. Well, let's edit that. And right here we have the color. We can bring up a color selector, and I'm going, ooh, is that garish enough? It's pretty garish. Oh, that's much nicer. We want seafoam green. That is definitely offensive. And then let's see. let's keep the squares red. No, let's take the squares and edit them and make them a different green, this non-offensive green. And just making these two changes, when we go OK and then OK and select, you can see it's given the chart a completely different look, and you can customize that to your heart's content. You can make every aspect a different color, and there's more you can do. So I want to keep going with this. Open that button menu again, find our aspects, config that we want to edit it. Now let's say we want to go in and make conjunctions, or let's say we want to make trines different. Let's say we want to increase the aspect line thickness of trines from 2 to 4. And let's say we want to make the color of trines like a lighter blue. And that's a good start. That can make a difference like this, where you start to see the trines are now more pronounced and more outstanding than the sextiles. Another thing we can do in our aspects configuration, not just changing color, we can change we can change the orb of influence, the way the program handles aspects at all. And one of the methods we can use is an applying / separating method. And that's kind of the default. It gives you aspects orbs for applying aspects and orbs for separating aspects. In the category of luminaries, that's sun and moon, and other is everything else. But we can just change it to a uniform luminary and other, which will be the same for applying and separating. Or we can, and this is less applicable to whole rather true sidereal or constellational astrology, but we can use angular, sescient, cadent house differentiations, where each category, each class of house gets its own orb of influence for luminaries and for others. Beyond that, we can use a uniform and a point-by-point basis, and you can define per point orbs. So for all points, we have an orb of 7 degrees for conjunction. So we can change that. Let's change it to 8. Okay. And then for these exceptions up here, we have orbs of 9. That's 9 for the luminaries. But let's add a point. Let's say for the lunar nodes, let's say for the north lunar node and the south lunar node, I want to take account of conjunctions to 15 degrees. Let's just say I'm interested in that. I mean, I can do that. I can actually go in here and I can tell this aspect configuration to deal with nodal conjunctions in a much wider way. Now, I actually use some of this functionality in my work, not with conjunctions, but that's beside the point. I just want to illustrate that you can really dial in and give a different, say you want to do, say Jupiter, and you want to give Jupiter conjunctions, a wide orb, let's say even 10, wider in this chart or aspect configuration than even the luminaries. You can do that, and so on and so forth. The choices are yours. And in this bottom section here, we can change the aspect line, the sort of the way the aspect is displayed. So we can change the thickness. Let's say we want oppositions to be thick like trines, like we made that a 4. Aspect line style, I think solid aspect lines are very good. And then there are different ways of drawing the aspect that you might want to play around. let's just say we've made oppositions, trines, and let's make squares also. Nice, thick aspect. And yeah, that's where I want to leave that. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at how this affects the display. You can see a little bit that squares, oppositions, and trines are delineated with thicker lines. But let's get back. Let's get back. There's more. There's more, my friends. Edit test for demo. Down in this section at the bottom, we have some interesting options. Most of the stuff in calculation is not going to be applicable to to true sidereal or constellational astrology. However, the display tab has some really interesting options. And when we look at the display tab, we can see we have a line thickness formula. So the aspect line thickness is linear, but we can scale symbols with thickness. And we can change from using the default line thickness to using a formula to calculate line thickness. And when we do this, there are some options here. Let's show the chart with this option where we scale and use a formula, a linear formula. I haven't played with all these options, but what that does is it shows closer aspects is larger in size. Closer aspects is larger in size. You're going to want, if you're going to want to employ this, you're going to want to make all of your aspect lines that you want this to affect. You're going to want to make them all 3 or 4 pixels wide. And then you're going to want to go into your aspect config down here at the bottom, display, and scale symbols with thickness. You can do there are different formulas for how thick the line and this one blows it up really wildly, but you know, again, showing closer aspects. This isn't a great chart actually for seeing that stuff. So let me get back in here, going in one last time, right? We're going to display, change back to linear formula. But what I want to do from here is okay. Now we're showing what that looks like. And I can give a better demonstration with an aspects config, my own evolutionary aspect set. This shows, you can see the like this in conjunction, for example, between the midheaven and Black Moon Lilith is thicker, is more pronounced. The icon for it is, or the symbol for it is larger, literally, than this in conjunction between Pluto and the ascendant. So you can see this symbol and that symbol are the same, but this tells me that even though this is an in conjunction and that's an in conjunction, that one is more potent than the other. One is more exact, closer to exact. And I think that with that, see, I told you we'd go in one last time. So we'll go in this one last time. Let's see, one last time, just to make sure we got everything. Did we miss anything? We got the display. What's over here? Yeah, line styles. You can do applying and separating. You can separate applying from separating aspects in the display by line styles. Yeah, I don't have a lot of use for this, but I just leave it where it is because I think it's useful. The default is useful. So when I say I don't have a lot of use for that, I mean I don't really change that or modify it very much. All right, let's check this out. Okay, and save. Yeah. Let's go to evolutionary aspects. Let's see if there's some better charts to display aspects. If we go to this one, then bring in the test for demo that we just made. Yeah, you get it. You know, there's the trines. They're separate from the sextiles, the light blue, the dark blue, all the changes we've made, and you can take that and extrapolate. You can make all the changes you want to make with the aspects. I think. Let's see what kind of recording time. We're at 15 minutes, so if this audio is still synced, I hope that was really useful. I'm going to get back out here and say, um, thank you. Thank you. I'll see you next time. And yeah, much love to you all. Ciao.